Today I'm heading to Mui Ne, a coastal town in Vietnam known for one pretty unusual thing: massive sand dunes right next to the ocean. But is it actually worth the trip? Let's find out.
G'day, so it's a sunny morning here in Ho Chi Minh City and I'm up relatively early, well for me anyway, and I'm going to catch a bus up to Mui Ne. It's about 4 to 5 hours and I'm going to catch the bus actually from the New Eastern Bus Terminal, which is at the end of the metro line. So my plan is to actually bypass all the morning crazy traffic here in Ho Chi Minh City and just glide onto the bus and hopefully get to Mui Ne. So fingers crossed it works, let's go.
I'm pleased to report that was a completely seamless interchange. I didn't even have to cross a busy street once, which is a big win. And the metro stop and the bus station were right next to each other, so transferring between the two was a breeze. The bus was really solid as well. Plenty of legroom, clean, modern, good driver. We even stopped at what was described as a 5-star restroom. Now, having seen the one at Lotte World Tower in Seoul, I'm not sure this rating has been independently assessed. It's a pretty boring drive up most of the way, you're just looking out the window at the freeway. But eventually the bus will turn off and head towards the coast, and with light traffic and not many passengers, we actually made it to Mui Ne in about 3 hours. For this trip, I booked 2 nights at the APEC Mandala Resort. For $26 a night, it was an absolute bargain. Now, for this price, there's going to be a catch, or in this case 2. First catch is it's a fair way out of town, so you're looking at, $10 to $15 to get back into Mui Ne itself, so factor that into your thinking if you do decide to stay here. The other drawback is that like a lot of these Vietnamese condo style resorts, you have to pay extra to use the facilities. But for about $10 Australian, I got to use the infinity pool, gym, sauna, and basically everything else until midday the next day. And for the rooftop view from the infinity pool, I think it was worth it. After having the pool to myself for about an hour, a rather noisy family turned up and I took that as a sign to head down to the private beach. Now, from up top it looked pretty good. Lounges, lifeguard, there was even a bar that was running in the morning apparently. But there was also a fair bit of plastic washing up, and the staff were doing their best but clearly fighting a losing battle against it. So instead of swimming with the junk, I parked up with the book and took it easy. The next morning was a bit of gym, a bit of pool, and not much footage because, you get the idea. The one downside of being out here though is the restaurants and mini-marts at the resort itself and nearby were not terribly inspiring. So lunch was a gluten-free bread roll with some gluten-free Vegemite, so living the dream folks. Then it was time for a tour. Now this one's on me. Mui Ne has 2 main dune areas, the white sand dunes and the red sand dunes. Most tours do both. The one I booked didn't, so yeah, rookie error, but always double check what you're booking. First stop was the ferry stream. It's basically a shallow stream that you walk through with these really unique formations on either side. To get to the good bit, you have to wade through what is, well, to be perfectly frank, a rubbish-filled creek, and shoes off were mandatory apparently. But for me, it was a little underwhelming, but maybe I just would have been happier if I'd been able to wear my thongs. Next up was the Mui Ne Fishing Village. This is still a working fishing port, but it's also become a bit of a photo spot. You've got scores of fishing boats, including round boats in the water, and it looks pretty cool. There are even a few beach cows wandering around, and the locals are pretty friendly. They'll offer to take you out in a boat for a bit, or sell you some fish. I don't eat fish, so I skipped that. And we headed into the local market, which is more local than touristy. At the time we were there, most of the fresh stuff had been packed up, but the street food folks were still setting up. But it was a good chance to pick up some supplies given there was so little out where I was staying. Our last stop was the red sand dunes, and these are what Mui Ne is really known for. Epic sand dunes right next to the coast. Although I did hear one English guy complaining that they're actually more orange. Mate, if you want red sand, go to Central Australia. The main things to do here, apart from, sliding down in a piece of plastic on the dunes, is to take photos of the sunset. I was there a little early, so I roamed around for a bit and explored. The red sand dunes are constantly changing shape. With steady sea breezes and seasonal monsoon winds blowing through, the sand is always shifting, so no two visits are ever going to quite look the same. The deep red colour comes from iron in the sand that's oxidised over time. Basically, it's rust. And you'll notice it really pops later in the day when the light softens towards sunset. After about 30 minutes of wandering around, half wondering if I'd somehow ended up on Mars, the crowd started rolling in, so I headed up to Bags' spot and watched the sunset. But then, clouds rolled in, so yeah, it was a pretty average sunset, but you can't win them all. Back at the resort, there was a surprise waiting for us, a free drone show. Unlike that one I saw in Melbourne where all the drones crashed into each other and smashed into Victoria Harbour, these ones stayed in the air, so solid improvement. The show itself just featured various buildings from around the world, and it was great to see Australia get a shout out in that.
So, do I think Mui Ne is worth it? Yeah, I do. It's actually a good little town for a couple of days stopover. I'd do things a little bit differently though. I'd either book a scooter if I was going to stay at the APEC Mandala again, or I'd stay closer into Mui Ne or Pan Thiet, noting that those areas are very popular with local Vietnamese tourists, so at peak times for the domestic market, it can be hard to find a spot. I'd also double check that my tour included both sets of sand dunes, or I'd book a separate tour and do the white sand dunes at morning. Apparently that's meant to be really good. Finally, I'd keep my thongs on when I was at the stream, regardless of what they said. For me, Mui Ne's a great 2 to 3 day stop, especially if you're travelling between Ho Chi Minh City and Dalat on a train. It's a great way to break up the journey, see a bit more of the country, and it's not going to cost you a huge amount to do it either. And the payoff is you get to enjoy something really unique, which is the sand dunes right on the coast. So thanks for sticking around until the end. If you found this at all useful or enjoyable, please give it a like and subscribe. It really just helps to grow the channel. Until the next one, take care.